Ski Patrol recovered a GoPro buried in avalanche debris on a Colorado slope. It recorded powder turns dissolving into white. 12 years later in the Pyrenees, an avalanche safety lecturer and two companions died on terrain he'd warned others to avoid. Since 2008, more people have died chasing the perfect shot than from shark attacks, 4 times more. What's driving that number is the part that should concern you. Since 2014, at least 285 incidents worldwide have been documented where a selfie or content shot ended in death. A separate cross-sectional study published in the Journal of Travel Medicine identified 379 selfie-related deaths between 2008 and 2021, a toll more than 4 times higher than shark fatalities in the same period. Both research streams rely on news and media reports, which means many cases never make it into the official record. The numbers reveal a pattern seen across continents and age groups. Image making isn't just recording danger, it may be changing how people decide what's worth the risk. Social approval on platforms like Instagram can turn ordinary choices into calculated risks. In a survey of 1,233 active users, those who called themselves influencers reported risky outdoor behavior at a rate about 20 times higher than other users. Nearly half of influencers admitted to taking these risks, compared to just over 4% of non-influencers. The survey also found that 1 in 10 users would accept physical danger for more followers. As each dramatic post draws more attention, the pressure to top the last one grows. Warnings can start to feel less like advice and more like a test of nerve or a badge of confidence. On January 22, 2012, 13-year-old Taft Conlon set out with 5 friends for a run on Vail Mountain's Prima Cornice. The group entered through the lower gate, which stood open that afternoon, while the upper gate above them was closed and roped off. They were chasing untouched powder left by a recent storm, drawn by the promise of fresh snow on a slope they knew well. Instead of dropping in directly, 3 of the skiers sidestepped about 120 feet uphill, moving across the face towards steeper, wind-loaded terrain. This was not a reckless shortcut, but a measured physical choice, a way to reach the best snow, not an act of defiance. The slab they entered was primed by the storm. As the group moved higher, the snowpack fractured. The avalanche released almost instantly, sweeping across a 300-foot wide section of slope and carrying the skiers nearly 400 feet downhill. 2 managed to dig themselves out and ski for help. Taft Conlon was buried beneath the debris. Patrick McInerney, a ski patroller at Vail since 1989, heard the radio call while working in Blue Sky Basin. He checked in with his son, who was friends with the group, and then joined the search operation. In the aftermath, McInerney recovered a GoPro camera from Conlon's helmet, its memory card still intact. Later, in a silent courtroom, the footage played, a teenager's hands adjusting his helmet, a few effortless powder turns, then the whiteout as the avalanche struck. The camera's final frames faded to white, leaving only the question of what happened in the seconds that followed. The GoPro belonged to Taft Conlon, not a female influencer. Its recording remains a stark record of the moment when a young skier's pursuit of a perfect run met the mountain's hidden instability. Complete burial in an avalanche is a race against time. When the snow settles, it can block the mouth and nose or trap exhaled air around the victim's face, turning every breath into a struggle. Survival rates are highest in the first 15 minutes, with more than 9 out of 10 buried skiers found alive if they're uncovered quickly. After 20 minutes, chances drop sharply, and by the 35-minute mark, only about a third survive. The main danger is not freezing, but asphyxiation. Roughly 3 out of 4 avalanche deaths are caused by suffocation, not cold. The air pocket, if it exists, shrinks with every exhale as carbon dioxide builds up. In those first minutes, hope depends on whether partners can dig fast enough. The arrival of a rescue team, even one well-trained and well-equipped, is often too late to change the outcome. December 29, 2024, brought 3 experienced skiers to the high slopes near Pico Tablado in the Pantacosa sector of the Spanish Pyrenees. Jorge Garcia de Hinks, a well-known Spanish health influencer and avalanche safety lecturer with an audience of about 375,000 on Instagram, was joined by his partner Natalia Roman and their friend Eneko Arastua. The group was ski touring at an altitude of roughly 2,800 meters, over 9,000 feet, where the wind had sculpted the snow into a dense slab. A wind slab forms when strong gusts pile snow into a cohesive layer, which can look stable, but may fail without warning under a skier's weight. As the party crossed the slope, the slab released. The avalanche swept all three down the mountain, leaving no survivors. Each member of the group brought a different background: public communicator, partner, friend, but their shared knowledge and experience could not protect them from the sudden collapse of the snowpack. Reports of the incident, including exact sequence and conditions, remain subject to confirmation by official Spanish rescue records. The tragedy stands as a reminder that expertise and public safety awareness, while important, do not erase the risks of the backcountry. Avalanche warnings use a 5-point scale, running from level 1, low, up to level 5, extreme. On the day of the Pyrenees tragedy, the published bulletin placed the risk at level 2 to 3, a range labeled as moderate to considerable. For many, these words sound reassuring, but in avalanche forecasting, they mean something very different than in daily life. Danger levels are not guarantees. They summarize the likelihood, potential size, and spread of avalanches, but never offer certainty about any single slope. A level 3, considerable rating signals that human-triggered avalanches are likely on specific terrain, especially where wind or new snow has built up unstable slabs. Yet when skiers see a number that isn't the maximum, there's a tendency to mentally downgrade the risk, treating it as manageable or just another challenge. The bulletin is a warning, not a green light. It describes a hazard, not permission. According to Spanish avalanche expert Fernando Rivero Diaz, most fatal accidents happen at level 3, precisely because people misread notable danger as merely moderate and continue into terrain that remains hazardous. This pattern repeats across years and countries. The warning is there, but its true meaning often gets lost in translation. 2 weeks before the avalanche, Jorge Garcia de Hinks posted a reflection to his 375,000 followers. Dated December 15, 2024, his words reached beyond weather updates or route advice. He described how at 3,000 meters, the modern world seemed to fall away below, replaced by a focus so intense that only the next step mattered. High altitude, he wrote, offered a kind of escape, a place where each movement required full attention and distractions faded with the thinning air. This mindset can bring discipline, sharpening awareness of every sound and shift in the snow. But it can also narrow vision, turning risk into something accepted, even sought. His post did not predict what would happen, nor did it cause the avalanche. It stands as a record of a skier's inner world, leaving open whether such focus brings greater caution or quiet confidence to keep moving forward. Avalanche fatalities in the United States show a steady pattern over recent years. During the winter season from 2024 to 2025, 22 people lost their lives to avalanches, a number that closely matches the 12-season average of 22 deaths per year. Since 2014, the total number of avalanche fatalities has reached 269. Victims include backcountry skiers, snowmobilers, snowbikers, and a ski patroller, underscoring that avalanche risk cuts across recreational and professional groups alike. These numbers, tracked by the National Avalanche Center and state avalanche centers, confirm that exposure is persistent and affects many who work or play in the mountains year after year. Avalanche.org and Ortovox report that organized rescue teams usually reach avalanche sites about 45 minutes after a burial is called in, 3 times longer than the 15-minute window when survival is most likely. The difference is critical. Immediate companion action matters most. A transceiver helps locate a buried person's signal, a probe confirms their position and depth, and a shovel allows for fast excavation. But equipment alone is not enough. Practiced use determines whether a rescue attempt becomes a recovery. The outcome often rests with those on scene, not those en route. A wider pattern emerges in the data on selfie-related deaths. A 2018 study found the average victim age to be about 22, and projections estimate 480 fatalities worldwide by the end of 2024. A compilation, not a full count. Among these are Hong Kong influencer Sophia Chung, who died at 32 after falling at a waterfall in 2021, and Anvi Kamdar, 27, who died filming at a 300-foot waterfall in July 2024, though details in Kamdar's case remain unconfirmed. Waterfalls, cliffs, and avalanche slopes share a common risk. Judgment narrowed by the pursuit of a single shot. Today, the line between inspiration and risk blurs with every share. As social media rewards spectacle, warnings can get lost in the noise. The mountain doesn't care about followers or views. It answers only to gravity. Every decision shapes more than a moment. It can define a life.